Yes, it's a different game now, but these guys are, as you mentioned, on 200 to 300,000 a year. They train 13 sessions a week. That is their job, and they are professionals, and they certainly have a lot of fitness, but they still make mistakes. They still don't kick goals that they should, Barry, from within 40 metres of goal.
Which Barry was that, Glenn?
Well, you'll do.
Look, there's always a lot of pressure on in football, and it's pressure from within and as well. I mean, you've got the pressure from the opposition, but you've got...
I'll tell you one thing.
And that's...
Yeah, I'm going to take that back.
I mean, top team and for your spot on the side the next week, that pressure from within quite often has more bearing than the pressure from without. Yeah. Comes down to the mental pressure. You can either mentally handle it and kick the goal, or you can't. It's not something that a skill coach can show you what to do, but he can't make you mentally tough enough to take the shot.
As we see the interchange players coming off the ground, the big fella for Fremantle has come off, Aaron Sandilands, who's at 211 centimetres. That's a centimetre taller than the big spider. But I still don't know what's that in old terms?
Very tall.
Yes. He's a big man. Yeah. 211. So if anyone could work that out into the old-fashioned business, we'd be very much appreciative of that.
6 foot 10 or 11.
Yeah, it's very tall anyway. As the ruckman and the players go into position, we're playing the traditional rules today. None of the Wizard Cup extra rules. There's none of this 3 points for a force behind and 9 points for a Super 50. It's all back to the real stuff, which is great to see. And it's great to be with you on 98 FM this afternoon. There's the siren to get the game underway for the Wizards Challenge Series here in Wonthella. Up they go. The big men fly, knocked down by the player there for Dockers in Troy Simmons. Big pack around the ball, and the umpire, one of the 3 umpires, the field umpires, comes in very, very quickly. There's a field umpire at the northern end, a field umpire at the southern end, and a field umpire in the middle, which sounds pretty logical. A ball thrown up now. Big pack around the ball. There'll be 6 or 7 players from each side. A free kick's been picked out. It'll go the way of a Richmond player. And Richmond have the ball through Joel Bowden. He plays on quickly, gets it to a teammate running past. He gets the kick up towards half forward. The ball slapped forward, goes back towards that player in McGrath. McGrath gets a handball up towards full forward, looking there for a teammate. McGrath has the ball. He's 50 metres from goal, gets a handball out there towards Pethler, but the ball spills back. It goes the way of the defence for the Dockers, and a good mark taken there by Paul Hazelby, the local star, on half-back. Clubroom side of the ground. The Dockers are going to the northern end, using the breeze in the first quarter. Hazelby kicked a short one, cut off there by the Richmond player, and a good mark taken by Mark Coughlin, who played well last week against Melbourne. He didn't get a lot of possessions, and they said he was a bit off the pace, but he still got the ball more than most players in the Richmond club. There goes his kick up towards half forward. Good mark taken there by that player in Houlihan. Houlihan turns around, centres the ball, but his kick's a poor one, and goes the way of the player there in Roger Hayden. Hayden for the Dockers, centres the ball, looking there for a teammate. He finds that player in Cook. He takes a good strong mark in the true centre-half back position. Troy Cook, the star, former Sydney Swan, gets a kick up towards centre wing, out of side. Pack goes towards the ball. Dockers can't control the ball. Overruns the ball to Longmuir. He was good last week, and Longmuir has the ball socket away from him, and he'll get the free kick. I think kicking in danger was the decision. Troy Longmuir, one of the stars last weekend against the Eagles. There goes his beautiful left foot kick up towards full forward, and the Dockers player ridden into the ground. The umpire says that's the way it is. And Dockers, the little wizard in Jeff Farmer, has the ball, and a player who really needs to step up for the Dockers this year. Jeff Farmer is 45 metres out, 45-degree angle, and Jeff Farmer, the wizard, has a competition named after him, of course, the Wizard Challenge Cup. Let's see how he goes. The West Australian boy, there goes his kick. Looks pretty good, straight through the centre. And on 98 FM football, the Wizard Cup Challenge, Jeff Farmer has the first goal of the afternoon. The Dockers are 1 goal straight. The Tigers yet to score.
Well, that was a good sign, because they're the kicks that the fans are really argued about last season. Where the players don't tackle properly, they carry them forward and bury them. They haven't been playing that, and that was a correct decision by the umpire. It was a terrible tackle, rode him into the ground. Jeff Farmer's not a noted goal kicker from a set shot, but that was a good straight kick. Didn't look like missing kippers.
No, I tend to agree. I think they've got to be more consistent in how they pay him. If he's got the run of the ball, he's in front and he gets carried forward and ridden into the ground, then it's got to be a free kick. But in the past, they haven't been paying them, so yeah, good decision.
Ball back in the middle of the ground. Vardy doing the ruck work for Richmond. Ball taken away by Pavlik. Boot to the country mile. Favours Medhurst. Medhurst does well. Traps the ball on the bounce. Tips towards the boundary line. Can he keep it in? No, he can't. Ball rolls over in the left forward pocket. Good attack by the Dockers. Medhurst did well, but an awkward bounce. Trapped the ball well. Just couldn't find the handle. Got shoved over the boundary line by Mark Chaffee, who's on suspension anyway, isn't he, on parole?
Yeah.
So you want to be a bit careful. Boundary throwing. Up they go. Vardy against, looks like Jones in the forward line. Great tap down to Hazelby. Great read. Medhurst sold two. Beautiful dummies. Drop punt towards goal. I think it's touched on the line. It is. Great dummy Medhurst. Sold the farm to about three Richmond followers. Had a shot on goal. Didn't quite connect well. And the Richmond defender got his hand to it. Forwards it across the line. Chip kick out. Goes to Tivendale. Tivendale kicks down the wing. Good use of the body by Hilton, who then gives Pavlich a slap on the gob and was lucky to get away with that. Richmond doing a little bit of physical stuff. Tivendale does well. Runs on. Well chased down by Simmons. Forces him onto the right foot. Kicks towards McGrath, who's been very busy early. He's well chopped off by Roger Hayden. Clever use of the body. Got Woods in support. Good handball. Woods will handball over towards Carr. Carr gets the left handball out towards Des Headland. Can he use the ball long? No. Kick drop short. Richmond can't intercept. Medhurst again tacks the ball hard. Great play. Does the spin. He's a crowd favourite already. Kicks down towards Longmuir. Troy Longmuir takes the mark. Got Palmer cruising past. Ignores him. Wants to go a bit longer. Palmer closed down now. Richmond flood back. Longmuir usually a good kick. Kicked into the man on the mark. The mistakes the Dockers make, they've got to cut out. Longmuir gets a second chance through Medhurst. Kicks the ball. Good central location. Well done, Crow. Force from the back. Richmond player ducked his head. Callaway got a free kick. Handball. Tivendale. Tivendale left foot chip. Finds Chaffee. Chaffee looks for the next link in the chain. The difference already, Bardo, is the movement up and down the ground of the footballers is quite unbelievable. Ball chopped off by Grover. Grover left foot kick down towards the excitement machine. Medhurst, clever play again. Flicks the ball up on his left hand. Great kick by Hazelby. Inside half forward. Just outside the 50. Should launch from there. The breeze is going to favour him if he kicks at the right hand goalpost. And Paul Hazelby. 7 goals for Northampton against Mullawar. Good drop, Pan. Straight through the middle. Dockers have their second. Dockers 2-1-13. Richmond yet to score.
Hasn't Medhurst been busy in the opening few minutes?
Yeah, what a wonderful advert he is for Waffle football. Really came in from Claremont side and he stepped straight up. He was probably a little bit of a surprise to get the quality, but he's certainly a live wire and doing it pretty well.
Has a real good football brain, doesn't he? Has a really intelligent.
He's an old-fashioned footballer, isn't he?
I see he's given away to marking the mark too, so perhaps some coaches had a word to him, but he does look the good so far. I don't know who they've got playing on him.
Paul Hazelby finished off well with that goal. Ball back in the centre.
By the look of it from here.
Yeah, I think the switch might be on.
Yeah.
5 minutes gone in the first term. The Challenge Cup on 98FM football. Ball goes the way of Richmond player there in Tivendale. He puts it on his left boot, going out to centre wing, outside of the ground. But Dockers have the numbers. Goes the way of a player there in Matthew Carr. Matthew Carr gets a handball away, but it goes the way of Richmond now. Richmond running forward through Pettifer. Pettifer takes 1 bounce, 2 bounce. He runs into a bit of trouble. It's Hilton now with the ball. He gets a handball back towards a teammate there. That teammate is McGrath. McGrath gets a handball forward. That player in Pettifer again kicks it up towards full forward, looking there for numbers. And they have the ball. That is Richmond. Richmond player there in McGrath. Puts it around on his left boot. Dockers in a bit of trouble now. Pack forms 5 metres from goal at the southern end. And the umpire has to come in and throw the ball up.
Super tackle there by Dion Woods, Kimbers, and didn't fall for the feint, just tackled the hips. Ignored the feint, just went to hips.
Yeah, I'm sure they're taught that these days. I think we all fell for it.
Richmond going into attack. This is as close as they've been to goal all day. The ball's picked up now by a Richmond player who shoots on goal from point-blank range on his left foot. Done it pretty well, and that was a good goal there from the Richmond player. Read the ball well off the pack, and I think it may have been Houlihan, and a pretty good performance there from Richmond, and the scores are pretty close. Here on 98FM football, we see that the Dockers are 2-1, Richmond are 1 goal straight.
And you spoke earlier on about their brittle defence. Now, that's one of the problems that they've got. There's no way in defence that Houlihan should have been able to get goal side without someone picking him up. The ball was flicked forward. He had no one marking him at all, Kimbers.
Yeah, just not quite tight enough around the bounce, was it? Which is surprising in that close.
Ball back in the middle of the ground. Simmons done pretty well on the ruck, as he should do. Vardy's only their second string. Oh, great lead, Simmons. Tries to take the ball. I don't like that. Ruckman should be tapping it. Gets a handball over towards Houlihan. Gets a handball out towards Hilton. Hilton's been busy. Up towards McGrath and Hayden. That's been a good battle. Walker comes in to help. Takes the ball, spins on his left. Well chased down by the Richmond defence, but the ball comes back to Walker. Shovels it over the boundary line, and he'll settle for a boundary throw-in. Caden Pettifer, that was, pursuing Walker. And quite nice jumpers, the Richmond girls. He's a lot of gold and black, and quite like the look of them.
Joel Bowden off for Richmond, and we have Clint King on.
Boundary throwing, up they go. Hazelby wins the tap. He can do everything. Taps it down towards Des Headland. Kicks the ball down towards the wing. Intercepted by Hilton. Hilton goes this way, then that. Docker's good pressure. Great tackle, Farmer. Gasper puts the ball on the deck. Oh, good tackle, Richmond. There by Chris Newton. He brings down Longmuir a little high, and Longmuir will take the kick. Jeffrey Farmer gets involved with Hilton. That surprises nobody. Ball kicked down towards centre half forward. Doesn't favour Medhurst. The play has stopped, and a 50-metre penalty. Jeffrey's had a win. He finally called someone into going on a bit longer than he did, and the Dockers have picked up a 50, and Troy Longmuir will shoot from inside the 50. Umpire still going back measuring it. He's probably going to mark it about 40 out, which means Longmuir will kick from just inside the 50. Now, started his career as a backman, so this is no gimme, but he is a good kick. He'll make the distance. It's just a matter of the accuracy. Needs to do what Paul Hazelby did. Needs to aim it at the right-hand goalpost. The sea breeze will bring it back for him. Paul, of course, a bit of local knowledge helped. Left foot kick. There it goes. Kicked it too far to the right. It's coming back, but it's not coming back enough. Dockers had their second behind, 2-2-14. And Richmond 1 goal straight on 98 FM football.
7 minutes gone. I'd say Richmond have made 4 or 5 interchanges. They're making the changes pretty quick, trying to get their balance right, trying to give the players a bit of a break. Ball comes back into play from the Richmond defence, taken by Clinton King. Feeds the handball out to a teammate running by. He kicks it up towards centre wing. Dockers have the numbers. Matthew Pavlich grabs the ball, gets wrong-footed. He gets the handball off forwards. Jeff Farmer gets a handball away back towards a player there shooting on goal in Matthew Carr. And Dockers player in Medhurst grabs the ball. I don't know what he was doing. And it was through already, was it? Or was that?
Yeah, I think it's through already. I think he was just trying to have a little win.
Okay, so another point to the Dockers score. 98 FM football, we see 2 goals, 3. The Dockers, Tigers, 1 goal straight.
Bit short on confidence, Jeff Farmer. 2 years ago, he would have taken that shot and got it.
The ball is in defensive zone for Richmond. They come out of defence now with a kick on their left foot there from a player there in Cameron. Cameron kicks it up towards centre wing, but the Dockers have the numbers. Dockers mark. Ball comes inboard to the big fella. For the Dockers there, he gets the handball away in Aaron Sandilands. He gets the handball away. The ball goes up towards half forward. Dockers have it through Longmuir, grabs the ball from 40 metres, throws it on his left foot, straight through the centre. The Dockers have another one. And on 98 FM football, Dockers go to 3 goals, 3. Doing it pretty well.
And nice interchange here.
Yes, gee whiz. That would be 6, would it?
Yeah, at least.
6 for 6? 5 for 5. That's how they're changing him, to compete with the temperatures, and makes it very, very easy when they change like that. And
Danny Frawley's board will be going berserk trying to keep up. But it's interesting, isn't it? We talked about the mental aspect of kicking a goal. Troy had trouble kicking the straight one, but when he just picked it up, put it onto his boot, went straight through the middle.
Not a bad interchange bench. We see McManus, Cook, Carr, just to name a few. Ball back in the centre. Can the Dockers win the ball forward? They slap it forward, but only as far as the Richmond player who's doing well comes out of the centre, puts it on his right boot up towards half forward. A good mark taken there by the player in Woods. In fact, it's McGrath. He's been very good this afternoon. There goes his short pass. Picks out a teammate in Pavlich. He's tackled high, but breaks the tackle, gets the handball away, goes away over Docker's teammate there in Webster. Webster gets it back towards Woods. Woods kicks it up towards centre half forward, back into the air, to Richmond in the air. Best down the ground with Hazelby. Feeds the handball out towards Longmuir. Longmuir from 10 metres out, runs into an open goal, kicks it well over the pack. And the Dockers are doing as they like here at Wonthella Oval. Dockers 4 goals, 3. to Tigers, 1 goal straight. And the Dockers look switched on.
Well, that was just clever play from the 2 Docker players. 3 Richmond flew, 2 Dockers stayed on the ground. Hazelby and Medhurst read the ball better. Handball to Troy Longmuir, who, it must be said, ran in from 10 metres out, and I reckon it snuck in by about a foot, but it was a goal.
Ball back in the centre. We've played 9 minutes here on 98 FM football, and we're waiting for the ball to be recovered. That must have been one of the things that... oh no, the ball's in the umpire's hands. I don't know what he's waiting for.
7'1", I've worked out. Sandilands is Bando.
Blood rule. Oh, that's why the umpire's waiting. There's a blood rule on a Richmond player. That Richmond player is Craig Bitterscombe, and he's coming off. So another player will naturally have to come on to replace him. Ball goes thrown up.
Bounced down back in the middle. Schultz actually got over the top of Sandilands. No easy task with his 7'1" frame. Kicked out towards Cunningham. Tackled and dispossessed. Doesn't get much of a kick. Hilton intercepts. Gets it across to Schultz. Not the Sergeant. Kicks it over towards Rogers. Rogers left foot kicking towards the ground, the middle of the ground. Again, Roger Hayden, who's been terrific in defence, intercepts, brings the ball to Dex. Dion Woods, he's been good too. Errant handball goes out towards Pavlich. Pavlich usually uses the ball long. Has a free player on the wing. That looks like Grover. No, it's Headland. Headland kicks the ball in towards the leading Crode, and Crode takes the mark. Crode's within distance. He's a long kick. He's about 55 out. The breeze is directly over his shoulder, so he's going to need to aim this at the opposite goal post, the left. Had a bit of kicking practice before, so he should have a rough idea of where this ball's going to go. Of course, the wind has switched around some since lunchtime. There goes the kick from Crode. Mongrel floating drop punt. They usually go straight. That one did. Pack slaps it forward. Chappie takes the ball. Handball straight over the line. He'll get away with that, though. Did enough to disguise it, and we'll have a boundary throw in 5 metres away from the right behind post. Scoreboard, 4 goals, 3 to the Dockers. 1 goal to Richmond. The orange boundary umpire throws the ball high in the air. Up they go. Big pack of players. Crow doing the ruck work. Jeff Farmer slips in the back. Got hands to it. Couldn't hold it. Richmond defence steam away. That looks like Hyde. Hyde gets the ball out towards half-back. Didn't really look. Will it make the line? Yes, Anthony Jones was the only player there. Ball rose over the boundary line. And the crowd over on the far side will get to have a close look at the action. And the ground's really filled up now, Glenn. There's not many. There's a few vacant spots over the golf side. But it really is a capacity crowd, and they are really warming to this game.
The tempo is good. The ball on the outer side. Boundary umpire throws the ball in. The big men there. Big pack around the ball. There's plenty of action around the ball today. Ball very close to the boundary line. Once again, a boundary throw-in. Been pleased with the tempo so far, Barry?
Yeah, very pleased, and it was interesting from that last boundary throw-in down in the Dockers forward pocket that most of the Dockers stayed out here on the on our half-forward line, or their half-forward line, and certainly just blocked the ball in. Richmond had more around the base of the pack when it was thrown in. They leave it up to the farmers and types like that, possibly to steal an easy goal or a sneaky goal down there rather than numbers.
The ball taken away from the boundary throw-in. Jeff Farmer gets the handball away, but only as far as the defence of the Richmond side. They take the ball up towards centre wing, looking up there for a teammate. They find Fiora. Fiora uses his class, takes one bounce, then takes them on. Well tackled. Ball comes to ground. Fiora jumps back in. So does Headland. Headland gets the handball away. The ball goes the way of a teammate there. He gets another handball in Haynes. And the ball breaking free now is the big fella in Pavlich. Grabs the ball, gets a 45-metre kick up towards centre half forward. Medhurst there. He's steady. Gets a short pass away. Lux the fortunate bounce off a teammate's boot and goes the way of the defence of Richmond. Richmond can steady now. The ball's on centre wing with Fiora. There goes the kick, and not it's Fiora, it's King. And there's a free kick to go the way of Richmond because player there in Cunningham was shepherding. Ben Cunningham was shepherding.
He was actually being shepherded.
Yes.
A hard one to read, wasn't it?
Yes. The ball's with Clint King. Clinton King plays on, short pass, not a pretty kick, but just carries the distance, goes the way of a teammate there, and Callaway. Callaway for Richmond, gets the kick forward. These kicks cut off by the big fella there for the Dockers. Sandilands gives a kick back towards Cunningham. Cunningham on half-back, kicks it up towards centre wing in front of the club room. The ball goes forward, play gets pushed out. It was pretty crude there by Medhurst, and the umpire picked it up, and the free kick will go the way of Mark Chappie. Mark Chappie has the ball, centre wing. As I mentioned, club room side of the ground. Beautiful conditions here now. The Oval is looking a treat as Richmond go out of defence through a player in Nichols. Here they overdid it though, and Dockers are going to get out of trouble. The ball goes a handball there from Troy Cook, and Crode has it. He gets a handball back towards Longmuir. Troy Longmuir steadies, gets a short pass up towards full forward. Jeff Barmer's there, takes the mark without any pressure, runs into an open goal and kicks a goal from 1 metre out. And on the 98 FM scoreboard, we see that the Dockers now go to 5 goals, 3 Towns, Tigers are 1 goals, and we've played 11 minutes on 98 FM football.
The interesting thing watching this game, Kim, is the amount of people that they have on the ball now. There seems to be about 10 on-ballers in each club, and that they just seem to rotate around the middle of the ground when there's about 3 key forwards, 3 key backs.
Yeah, very much, and it's very hard to follow, actually. It's hard to work out where they're playing sometimes, but yeah, footy's very much like that now, isn't it?
I'm glad they weren't at that level of fitness when we were running around, mate. Ball back in the middle. Sandilands, he's very tall. He wins the tap, gets it back towards Pavlik. He's playing in the middle of the ground, as we called earlier. Ball spills out free. Pavlik has an indiscriminate soccer, gets away with that. Players dive on the ball. We'll have another ball up, and the ball has travelled only a couple of metres to the left.
Yeah, we're talking about Sandilands. He wears a size 18 boot, and the boot costs $750, so he's a very valuable player.
I wouldn't have spent that much on boots my whole life. There goes the bounce down. Up they go. Sandilands reaches over from the back. Taps towards the back. Cameron on the ground. Gets a left-hand handball. Good tackle by the Dockers. Dispossesses the ball. Gets it back to Cameron. Runs onto his right. Then his left. Kicks with the right foot. But, steps up Dion Wood, who takes the perler over the top of McGrath. And that was a set-up from his teammate. Great mark by Dion Woods. He's been excellent in defence. Kicks down towards Medhurst. Little unlucky slip. Did well to get back into the contest. Troy Longmuir, geez, good on the forward line. Provides the contest. Ball spills out. Comes back towards Bitterscombe. He gets the ball over to Cameron. Runs to his left side. Gets the handball out to Tivendale. Tivendale gets a hot one. Can't pick it up. Dockers tackling well. Putting pressure on Richmond. Forcing them to go sideways. Ball comes out to Fiora. Left foot finds Chappie. Chappie wants his left foot side. Kicks up towards the 1 out. And Richmond at the back give a shove. Get away with it. Couldn't see the number. Was that Savati? Ball comes back to Hazelby. And Hazelby relieves pressure. Kicks it out and finds Daniel Haynes. Has 1 bounce. Runs along the half-back flank. Kicks the ball down towards Longmuir in front. Dives and takes a chest mark. Has a free player running past in Headland. Just needs to spot him up. Oh, shocking kick. Landed in between 3 of them. Chappie took him on. Great tackle. Medhurst brought him down. Ball goes to Gasper. Gasper relieves the pressure. Bad kick there though. Dockers had a 3-on-1. Ball goes down a half forward. And the mark is taken there by Bitterscombe. Goes in towards half forward. Looking for Houlihan. Ball too far for him. Woods has been fantastic in defence. Gets the ball over to Grover. Grover chip kick finds Hayden, and Hayden will find the next link in the chain, which is Troy Longmuir. Takes the mark on the wing. Ball very hard to keep up with. Goes very fast from one end to the next. Sandilands gives the ball to Haynes. Haynes runs down. Kicks over centre half forward. Crowed out in front. Ball slips through his hands. Medhurst and Farmer are there. Didn't talk. Both overran the ball. Ball spills out and will be relieved by Chappie. Kicks up towards half back. Finds Fiora. Got metres in the clear. Ball going very, very fast from one end to the other. Hotly pursued by Jones. Good hip and shoulder from Richmond. Clears some space for Fiora. He kicks towards the middle of the ground, and the mark is taken there by Bill Nichols. Nichols swings onto his right foot. Mongrel kick doesn't flow properly. Callaway goes to soccer. Gets the Dockers' foot. Spills out towards Headland. Good handball. Good vision. Found Toya. Toya runs free. Has a play on the hands of the trainers. He can't tackle. Tamlis runs in from 50. Has a shot from 50. Kick for goal. Dockers have their 6. Dockers 39 points, 6 goals, 6. Richmond 1 goal, 6 points, and they do have a breeze advantage, Kippers, but they just look a little better organised at present.
Handling the ball a little bit better, and I think, as you mentioned earlier, their forward line structure seems to be 3 up the middle and 1 out the side, so there's just 4 of them down there, whereas Richmond are 5 and 6, and they just seem to be, tidying up a little bit better, certainly handling the ball a little bit better. Probably only a 2.5 goal breeze anyway.
Craig Bitterscombe's left the ground. He did a hammy. He won't be back this afternoon. That's a big blow to him. Richmond got a lot of injuries coming into this game, and they're not starting the game the way they'd like. As you mentioned, the breeze is favouring the Dockers, but the Dockers' work rate is far better. Ball back in the centre. Sandilands knocks it forward. Richmond have the ball in the Dockers have the ball in the centre. Sandilands has it. Feeds the handball out towards a player there who gets the ball forward in Des Headland, of course. He gets it away to Cunningham. Cunningham from 60 metres kicks it up towards full forward, and a great mark taken there by the Dockers forward.
Medhurst, he's a superstar, Medhurst.
I've
seen him in the flesh. Yeah. He really is a good player, and he and Farmer are very, very dangerous dangerous at ground level, having two players that are that smart.
Yeah, Medhurst, a quality key forward, and yet he's not a tall man. Medhurst shooting on goal from point-blank range, and he'll do it. This will be his first goal of the afternoon. He's had a couple of opportunities, and he didn't do it then either. He should never have missed that one from that range. He was only 10 metres out.
Well, he shouldn't have tried to kick it that far. From that range, you really just need to kick it over the defender's head and just let him throw it back.
Ball to be brought back in by the Richmond defence as they wait for the ball to come back. Just looking at Medhurst, he's not a tall man. He's only 178 centimetres. He was born in 81, so he's only 22 or 23, so he's only a young man. Of course, he's a Claremont player, and he played good waffle football, and then he was surprised to get picked up, I think, but it really last year was a revelation, wasn't he?
Well, he's pretty tough for a Claremont player, Kim, isn't he?
Yeah, he's very good. But they're sort of medium, aren't they, down there in the forward line, but they're so dangerous. You know, they make Richmond pay every time they make a mistake down there, which they have just done then.
Richmond bring the ball out through Tivendale, but they've turned the ball over. The ball's in the forward pocket for the Dockers. Whistle on play. A free kick's been picked out. It'll go the way of Dockers. Dockers are doing it all their own way.
Very Medhurst conscious. If the ball comes anywhere near him, they just took him out, and he wasn't going to mark it anyway, but the defender took him out, and he gets a chance to atone for his last one.
Well, we've seen Medhurst and Farmer get a couple of free kicks today that I've never seen forwards get in recent years, so it's good to see the umpires looking after the players in front and the players going for the ball.
Yes, it's the way umpiring should have been, and it's good to see him getting it back to it.
Well, Medhurst would like to get this one. He's 40 metres out. He missed what he should have got a few moments back, and this really would be a handy break to the Dockers going into the first quarter, or the end of the first quarter. 16 minutes gone. Medhurst kick looks beautiful. The goal umpire doesn't move. Wait on the decision. He's waiting for the all clear, and it is all clear. And on 98 FM football, the Dockers go to 7 goals, 4-46, leading Richmond 1 goal straight. And Richmond left their main guns at home, but they may have to regroup at quarter time.
You'd have to look at Medhurst, wouldn't you, if you're sitting on the bench for Richmond? He must have had about 9 touches, I'd say, Barry, up to this stage, and quality ones.
Well, they've chucked their best stopper on him. They've got Chaffee, who was one of their best backmen last year, but he's just tearing Chaffee to bits. I think they'll probably have to go for Andrew Callaway, I think.
Certainly going to do something. Too many touches for a forward, isn't it?
And good coaching by Connolly too. He was playing out on the flank. Because he's so dominant, Connolly switched him deeper into defence, and he's just proving too hard to counter. Ball back at the middle. Dockers are winning it out of the middle. They've got a good midfield now, and it's making a difference. Hedlund kicks it up to guess who? Medhurst. Got a shocking bounce. Ball spills out towards Chaffee. Again, the handball puts him in danger. Oh, Farmer was a bit unlucky there. Got pushed off the ball. Ball comes back towards Vardy. Vardy gives the ball over towards 33, who is Mills. Mills kicks up towards half forward. Well done, two. Our beat two of them. Gets it over towards Woods, who's been terrific. That's not a very good handball, but Hayden will recover. Get it over to Toya. Dockers fiddling. Haven't done that so far. They've been direct. Well done, Padlich. Gets the ball over to Hayes. Lovely drop punt. Hits Longmuir. He's been terrific. Gets the ball to Dent Hedlund, who's getting a bit of space. That's dangerous. Launches it 70 metres to Farmer, and Farmer just spilled it off his knees. Terrific kick from Hedlund, and that landed about 2 metres out. Jeff Farmer just couldn't hold on to it, and it dribbled through for a point. A lot of terrific skills on display here this afternoon. The kind of thing that we only see glimpses of in local footy, but a lot more sustained out there today. Chappie kicking the ball in, goes for the kick towards Gasper on the half-back flank. Very safe overhead, Gasper, and takes the mark. This is probably his weakness. He's kicking on this occasion, short pass, finds Cameron. Cameron swings onto the right foot, kicks up towards half-back. Roger Hayden back into the pack with courage. But the siren goes as Hayden recovers the ball to end what was a terrific quarter of football for the Fremantle Dockers Football Club. They are 7 goals 5-47, and the Tigers are 1 goal 6 on 98 FM football.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity for people to come and see top quality football this afternoon. The Dockers have been very, very impressive. As we see the Dockers running to the change rooms, they have...
5 swap over. I thought that the interchange would be far greater today with the heat. I thought it would almost be rapid fire and continuous, but at this stage it hasn't been. And well, again, how fit are they? They're superb.
Yeah, I think they'll probably let them run the first half, let them get some run under their legs. They'll probably interchange a fair bit in the second as some of them fatigue. But the fitness level is terrific because they're not just playing. There's very few people playing key positions. Most of them are playing roving all over the field.
Well, yeah, it's a running game as we all know, and there's more run involved in it now than there's ever been before.
I think the other thing that the local crowd will be really pleased about today, I've watched quite a few games at Subiaco Oval, and they're quite big stadiums. You get reasonably close, but it's still very hard to decipher the pattern of play. But either because we're sitting up here and got such a vantage point, but it really is easy to work out the game pattern of an AFL game watching here today.
The ball's in the centre, bounce down. We're underway in the second quarter of the Challenge Regional Cup here at Wonthella Oval between the Dockers and Richmond. The ball's on half back. The Dockers have it. Goes the way of Paul Hazelby. He's on the outer side, takes it up towards centre wing, finds a teammate. Dockers still in possession through Headland. Headland gets a kick forward, looking up there for a teammate, finds it, and doing pretty well on that regard this afternoon. The Dockers are finding their men. There goes his kick up towards half forward. This time Richmond have the numbers, and Darren Gasper, the acting captain, takes the mark. Gasper plays on now, goes out to the outer side where he finds McGrath. McGrath breaks across centre wing, kicks it up towards half forward. Not too sure what that Richmond player was trying to do, but the ball spills the way of a player there in the big fella in East. No, it's not. It's the big boy anyway. Gets the handball away towards the Dockers running out of defence, and they're doing it pretty well now. There goes the kick from the defender for the Dockers. Up towards half forward, looking up there for Farmer. Did a lame fall. The umpire wasn't going to fall for that one. In goes a teammate there in McManus. McManus can't control the ball. Picked up now by the Richmond player in Hilton. Rory Hilton grabs the ball, sends it forward, but not far enough, and the Dockers rebound. The ball's with a player there in Cunningham. He kicks it up towards full forward, and Trent Crode, the superstar who hasn't had a lot of the ball this afternoon, he's taken a mark, and this will do his confidence a world of good.
Des Headland's come to play, hasn't he? He's got relations up this way. I think he's quite keen to get up to Geraldton and show them how far he's come in football, and he's really starting to tear this game to bits. Ben Cunningham's an interesting player. He's a terrific little ball getter, but I've very rarely seen one of his drop punts ever spin correctly.
There goes Crowe's kick, and he's offline again, and he's having some kicking practice, and he looks like he may need it this afternoon because he's offline. Gets a minus score. So the Dockers add to their tally, kicking against the breeze. They're going towards the golf club end in this quarter against the breeze. Richmond come out of defence. They have the ball on half back. The full-back grabs it by hand, gets it upfield and finds Chaffee. Chaffee has it now. Short pass up towards centre wing. Looking up there for a teammate. Finds that player. Good mark taken by the player in Martin McGrath. How he could play on from a mark, I don't know. And the ball goes upfield.
Free kick, Glenn. He paid it for hanging on the jumper. It was well spotted by the umpire.
So McGrath, free kick was allowed to play on because there wasn't a mark. It was a free kick. Ball's on half forward in front of the very big crowd here at Wonthella. Clubroom side of the ground. Boundary throw in. The big men fly. Slapped forward by the Dockers player there in Matthew Paslich. And a big pack develops once more. And there'll be a throw up. It's Sandilands, the ruckman. He's the big fella. Ball to be thrown up. Within the 50-metre line, the ball is in the Richmond forward zone. They haven't been in that zone very often this afternoon. The ball's there with a teammate. The ball spills the way of Troy Cook. He's tackled. Ball spills to ground. In goes a Dockers player, pulled to the ground, and he had no opportunity to get rid of it, no prior. And the umpire will come in and throw the ball up again. And a good bit of play there from the Richmond side, putting a good tackle on Anthony Grover on the ground now. Grover, who didn't play last week for the Dockers. Ball thrown up again. Big pack. Sandilands knocks it towards the boundary line, and the Dockers see the ball thrown over. This time 55 metres around from the left point post.
Dockers have made a few changes. They've got Sean McManus has come on in a forward pocket. That's the first one I noticed. Luke Toyer's on tagging Pettifer and annoying the hell out of him. Ball thrown into the boundary line, goes up towards half forward, taken by McGrath. He's well tackled by the Dockers, however. They're not letting him get away. That's Haynes, and we'll have another ball up. Still quite pleasant conditions, about 33. Southerly starting to roar in, bounce down at half forward, goes over towards Docker player there in Carr. He gets his kick smothered, picked up by Hyde. Hyde has a flying shot towards goal, but that's off to the left, out of bounds on the full, and we'll have a free kick into play through the agency of Luke Toyer. Crowd really starting to warm to this game. I see the beer tents filling up, and there's quite a vocal crowd out the front. Very, very colourful scene here. There's people all around the ground, and it's a wonderful sight. Luke Toyer kicks the ball up towards half-back. Sandilands, he's a foot above the pack. He got two grabs on it. I don't think the umpire's going to play that one. Ball spills out to Grover. just a bit of a scrubby package of play here. Picked up by Mills. He gets a kick out towards centre half forward. Up goes Pettifer, and I'd say that's been paid. It has. Good mark over the top of Toya. Those two have been annoying the crap out of each other for about the last 5 minutes, and Pettifer is going to have the last laugh. He's only about 30 metres out. He's almost dead in front, and we'll see what he's like kicking for goal.
Well, he's been one of Richmond's better players this afternoon. They haven't had too many, but he's been in everything, and he should spring up a goal from this distance. You would think he's only 25 metres out directly in front.
There goes the drop punt, and goal umpire doesn't move, waves the orange flaps on his shirt, says that's Richmond's second goal. The Dockers are 7-6-48. Richmond had their second goal, and I'm starting to sound like one of those biased commentators from Victoria. I should have got a bit more excited about that, Kimbers.
No, they're a little crowded down there in their forward line, don't you think? You know, you're talking about how open the Dockers forward line was early in the first quarter, but looking at that section of play, even though there's a couple of boundary throw-ins from the half forward line, they still had 4 or 5 players behind that between there and the goal, so they are definitely a little more crowded, not as organised in the forward line as the Dockers were in the first quarter.
And that was a fairly scrappy passage of play. It didn't look like a set drill, did it?
No, there's a lot of players down there.
Thunder. Kane Pettifer becomes Richmond's second goal scorer of the afternoon. 12 points to 48. The ball comes out of the centre bounce, and Richmond go forward again. The ball's on the half-forward flank, out of sight. Richmond have the opportunity. Good tackle put on by a Dockers player there. Richmond still fighting hard, as Barry just mentioned. It's a pretty congested forward line at the moment. Dockers are doing it well in defence. The ball goes to the big fellow in Sandilands. He kicks it up towards centre wing. Not a very long kick, but Lux of Fortune goes the way of Woods. Woods kicks it up towards a teammate who marks, and a good bit of play there from Headland. Feeds the handball out towards a fast-running Jones. He sends it up towards centre half forward, and a good mark taken there by a Docker. There goes the kick. Looks pretty good. Over towards Farmer. He trips over at the crucial moment. He's 50 metres out on a 45-degree angle, runs backwards, gets a short pass into Medhurst, and in fact it's Ben Cunningham, and a short pass, and Ben Cunningham marks, and Ben Cunningham's got woolly hair, very similar to Medhurst, about the same height, puts it on the left foot into towards the forward pocket, a little bit over finessing there from the Dockers.
Well, that was the Dockers of old, wasn't it? They were one side of the oval, they went 50 metres to the other side, didn't gain anything. What Crode actually missed was McManus running back to the square. That was the kick, but he was too late.
Boundary throw-in. Ball comes forward. The big fella, Sandilands, gets a kick forward, but doesn't go too far. Richmond player tackled high. Bandy's rule paid. Richmond come out of defence. They run across the 50-metre line. Pick up a teammate there in Callaway. He couldn't control the ball. He's outnumbered, but does well. Gasper goes back in to help him. Gasper has the ball packed under him. He's lucky not to get pinged, but he did pretty well. Richmond were outnumbered and outgunned, and Darren Gasper crawls himself up off the boundary line. A boundary throw in front of the bars here at the Wonthella Oval. In fact, it's a bounce down. Umpire bounces it into the turf, doesn't get it too high into the air in this lush green grass here at Wonthella Oval. The ball comes out. Dockers have the ball. Dockers player tackled high. Troy Cook, yes, that's the way the umpire's seen it. And Troy Cook will send Dockers forward. Dockers going to the golf club end. He sets the ball up towards centre half forward, looking for Crode. Can he mark? Yes, he can. Crode marks. And he's starting to take a few of these marks now. He's handled the ball 2 or 3 times in this quarter. And Trent Crode is 40 metres out, directly in front, kicking straight into the teeth of the breeze.
Well, it doesn't show up on the TV, but Crode is a big, powerful fellow, isn't he? In appearance, he is a big, powerful chap.
There goes his kicker, fades away to the right-hand side, a minor score only, and on 98 FM scoreboard, we see that the Richmond Tigers go to 2 goals, 1-13, and the Dockers, of course, got that point. So Dockers are 49 points, and the Tigers are 12. 49-12. As Richmond bring the ball back into play, and a good strong mark almost taken by the player there in Carr, gets a short pass onto a teammate who sends the ball forward, and that's a good effort there from Des Headland. Finishes the ball off beautifully. Got a handball there from Walker. In fact, it was from Carr to Headland, and a good goal there. This time the Dockers score the major, and the Dockers on 98 FM scoreboard go to 8 goals, 7,
The Tigers are still 2 goals straight.
Interesting thing, Glenn, that Jeff Farmer was actually spent a little bit of time in the back line. He ran from centre-half back basically right down to centre-half forward just prior to that. So he's prior to that last touch that he had down there. So he's obviously covering a lot of ground and working hard.
Great finish by Headland though, wasn't it? Just inside the 50, into the breeze, kept the ball low, never looked like missing. He's going to be a quality acquisition for the Dockers this year. Ball back in the middle of the ground. Orange umpire bounces the ball, up they go. Sandilands, he is a super tall player, Sandilands, wins a tap down, taken by Tivendale, gets the ball over to Gasper. Gasper's handball misses, well done by, I think that was Pettifer, flips it out the back towards Hilton. Hilton kicks the ball over and finds Chaffee. Chaffee kicks the ball long down towards the forward line. Pettifer goes for the stage, not paid by the umpire. Good umpiring, allows the ball to be thrown in. Good direct football by Richmond, transferred the ball into the forward line quick, but they just haven't got the targets that the Dockers have got. They haven't got their big guns playing today. The ball's just kicked in more in hope than anything else, and the ball, they just don't seem to have the same system operating up forward. Boundary throw in. There we go. Sandilands stands head and shoulders above the ball. Simmons on the ball as well, gets a tap, goes forward to Hazelby. Hazelby gets a left-hand handball, hugs the boundary line. Headland, he's knocked up getting kicks, not sure who's playing on him. Ball spills back to Bowden, but the ball's got over the boundary line, and we'll have a throw-in just in front of the Coca-Cola sign. Nice crowd over there, all decked out in various colours. There goes the throw-in, up they go. Tapped them one down by Sandilands. Favours Walker. Walker's beaten for it by McGrath. Good tackle by Walker, makes the ball spill out, goes back over the boundary line, and we'll have another boundary throw-in. Pretty congested passage of play. Richmond get the ball into their forward line and don't really have a pattern after that. The Dockers tend to just man it up and bring the ball to ground, and football gets pretty scrappy. Ball comes down, some boundary throw-in, goes to Bowden. He's a class act. Good handball over to Houlihan. Houlihan kicks the ball high. Gasper's in the mix. Can he take the mark? No. Great mark taken by Polak. Polak not paid the mark. Ball spilled out towards Cunningham. Cunningham slips, turns on his right foot. Can he kick any better than he is with his left? Well done by Carr. Picks the ball up, chips it along the wing. Intercepted by Tivendale. Ball spills over the boundary line, and we'll have another boundary throw-in. Players still about 15 or 20 players that just continue to follow the ball around. There's 3 people in the Dockers forward line, 3 forwards, 3 backs, and about the same in Richmond's. Ball spills on the ground. Haynes shows courage, dives it after the ball. Pack converges on top of him. Ball's going nowhere, and the umpire says we'll have a ball up.
Richmond have made 3 changes, and we see Medhurst coming on, Jeff Farmer off. The umpire to bounce the ball down in front of this very big crowd here at Wonthella, in front of the club rooms. Up they go. Sandilands taps it forward, but only as far as the Richmond player in Chaffee. Chaffee puts it on his left boot, kicks it up towards half forward. Richmond have an opportunity now through Gasper. Gets pulled over. Another teammate goes in to help him in Mills. He can't control the ball. Whistle on play, and a player there was interfered with. That's Chaffee. No, it's not. It's Pettifer. Pettifer has been very good this afternoon from 40 metres out. Sailed through. That's the all clear. That's his second goal of the afternoon, Kane Pettifer. And Richmond now go to 3 goals, 18, leading their, trailing their opponents this afternoon, 8 goals, 7, and the Dockers are their opponents.
Des Headland just jogged off and looked like he wouldn't have blown out a candle, Kimmers. Doesn't that annoy you?
It does, because he's done an enormous amount of work today, and he's just jogging down the boundary now like he's getting ready to go back on again. So, yeah, he's obviously, he looks a lot fitter this year than he was last year, I think. He had a great season last year, too.
Yeah, he does. He looks to have trimmed down a bit, doesn't he? And
certainly.
He just didn't look fatigued at all when he came off.
Troy Longmuir also going with Headland to warm up, and the ball back in the centre with the umpire. We're playing Wizard Regional Cup on 98 FM this afternoon. The Dockers doing battle with the Richmond Tigers. Richmond in a bit of trouble. Richmond are trying hard. The ball's on half forward now. McManus puts a tackle on a player, but a whistle on play, and to go back down the field.
Umpiring, because the tackle lingered on Jones long after he got rid of the ball, and the umpire, they were getting away with that last year. Richmond are having trouble adapting because you're just not getting away with it this year.
Anthony Jones kicks it up towards full forward, and Crowe comes out and takes a good strong mark, and as we mentioned earlier, he's been good this quarter. His kicking has not been good, but his marking has been, and as Barry mentioned, he's a big strong man, and if the Dockers can get him to start finding the target, he will be a power. I think he kicked 42 goals, 38 last year in the proper season, and he's looking to improve that. This time he splits the middle, straight through the centre, and on 98 FM football, we see the Dockers increase their lead. They go to 9 goals, 7, 61. The Tigers are 3 goals straight.
Kicking into the wind probably suits Crow a little bit better, but the ball's holding up, not quite going as far, and he's able to use his strength, as Barry mentioned earlier. He's a big, strong boy, and he can hold the front position, and he's taken several good marks in this quarter, whereas in the first quarter, they're probably going over his head towards goal. You know, they're running with the wind and kicking the goals from 40, 45 out, so it's probably, this is certainly suiting him at the moment.
I think he's done a very good job, Crode. I think he's continued to lead and give him a target, but it is a handy asset for a full forward to have to be able to kick straight.
Yes, Trent Crowe will be 23 in 8 days' time, so he's still a young man. The ball's back in the centre. Can Richmond recover? They get the ball out of the centre now through their hard-working Rover. He grabs the ball, kicks it up towards centre-half forward. He's in front. The ball's slapped away from him by Woods. The Dockers have the numbers, 3-2. He slaps it forward. Now he goes back in now. Can he control it? No, he can't. Pack develops. Dockers players tackled, and the umpire will have no option but to come in and throw the ball up. The umpire in good position, come from the outer side, and he was in good position there. Once again, a big pack around the ball. Centre wing.
One of the things I've noticed over the years, Victorian teams tend to come over here and muscle WA sides, but Richmond aren't able to muscle the Dockers today.
No. The ball is a free kick's been picked out. Advantage rule paid. Goes the way of Richmond. They break clear through Leon Cameron. He shoots on goal. Couldn't make the distance. And it's picked up there by the defence of the Dockers. And they're out of trouble again. They go down the outer side to a player there who sends the ball forward in Sandilands. He kicks it up towards centre wing. The ball goes the way of a teammate there in Jones. Good to see him back in the game. James Walker feeds the handball out towards a teammate running past, and there's Crode again on the end of that.
Daniel Haynes, isn't he a super kick? He's had 3 passes to Crode that haven't missed his emblem. They've absolutely slapped him right on the chest. Absolutely brilliant kick from Haynes.
Yes, Daniel Haynes doing well, getting a lot of the ball. So too is Trent Crode, causing the full-back at Richmond a bit of trouble. There goes Crowe's kick, looks pretty good. May fade away to the right-hand side. May have held on long enough, I think. And that's his second goal in as many minutes. And on 98 FM scoreboard, we see that the Dockers now 10 goals, 7, 67. Doing it pretty well against the Tigers, 3 goals straight.
Northampton goal umpire at that end, I reckon, Kibbers.
Yeah, definitely. It was interesting, you know, he got Pavlich back on the ground just recently, and I think he's the one that took the ball out of the goal square in the last forward thrust and set the game up out on the far flank, and they've channeled the ball up and set it up to throw the goal. So certainly, yeah, the key player, and that's very important, and that's what we're going to have to.
Yeah, and they've got Woods back on the ground on Pettifer because he was causing trouble, and they were key players in the first quarter. Ball goes up to Simmons, goes up, wins a tap down to Cook. He's dispossessed by Richmond. Richmond are dispossessed by Carr. Ball falls back into the middle of the pack. Richmond trying to get the ball out. Umpire lets the play go. Good umpiring. Eventually kicked out of there by Coughlin. Coughlin gets towards half-back. Woods, he's having a terrific game. Intercepts, gets the ball over towards Carr. Carr hooks the ball high in the air towards Haynes. Haynes takes the mark. Gets decked when he didn't take the mark. Adam Houlihan is not happy with the decision, but you should have waited to see if he took the mark before you put him on the ground. Haynes had spilt it and was then interfered with. His foot passing is absolutely terrific to watch. Reminds me of the old days of the Barry Cable stat passes, and it's exciting to see that level of skill in football. Short chip finds Toyer. Toyer on the wing, looks up. There is a big congestion in front of him. Gets a few leads. Kicks towards half forward. Goes towards Simmons. That's probably not a bad option. Simmons tries to edge his man out of the contest, but floating in across the front was Chris Hyde, who's had a bit of the ball this afternoon. He takes the mark. Left foot kick. Kicks down towards a 2-on-1. Woods, Hayden needs to go for the spoil. Does. Good tackle. Got his Richmond opponent down. Much bigger fellow in Nichols. Jay Schultz, who is their second string ruckman. Right. And he really has picked up the aggressive side of his game, Roger Hayden. Very pleased with the way he's run back into packs and tackled today. Boundary throw-in. There it goes. Lovely big high throws by the boundary umpires. A lot of skill at AFL level with all assets, including the officials. Paul Hazelby takes the ball, kicks it away towards the excitement machine. Medhurst. He's He's back on the ground. Has his teammate Cunningham running past him. Goes for the chip kick towards Jones. Sets him up. Gaspar uses his body. He's on the ground. Well done, Jones. Pinned his arms. Good tackle by Richmond on McManus. Stolen by Pavlik. Good hip and shoulder by Jones. Bought Cunningham time. But Richmond got him from behind. Brought him down with the ball. And the umpire says that was fair and above board. And we'll have a boundary. We'll have a ball up.
Pretty solid over there, Barry, in that section of play. A lot of hard tackling, a lot of body work.
There's very few players brush tackles at AFL level, isn't there? You see a lot of that at waffle level, but there's not many people brush tackles at AFL level. Ball flipped out by McManus, doesn't go to anyone in particular. Taken by Clinton King. That's a very indiscriminate kick. Kicks down towards half forward, and that's Webster, I think, will help that over the boundary line. No, it's Greg Edgecombe, who's a player I haven't seen before, Glenn, and he's quite a sizable lad too. Helps the ball over the boundary line.
Yes, I think the players are finding the going pretty tough here this afternoon. The pace has certainly gone out of the game, but Richmond are working the ball very, very hard. They're putting a little bit more pressure on the ball carrier. James Walker has the ball now. The classy player from the Dockers kicks it up towards half forward, but his kick is well directed. The mucks of fortune. Dockers still have the ball on the end of that. The ball goes from Carr, hand to McManus. McManus from 60 metres out, kicks it in towards the forward pocket, finds a teammate there, and the mark is taken by Cunningham. He kicks it in towards full forward, looking there for Trent Crode. Can he do it? He does well. Captures the ball, gets a handball towards Troy Cook. He throws it on his left boot. His kick goes straight up in the air, puts his teammates under pressure, but the ball's still with McManus. He's 35 metres from goal. He's slung, shoots on goal, looks pretty good. He's made the distance. Good effort there from Shane McManus. He's been pretty quiet this afternoon, but he gets another score on the board, on the 98 FM scoreboard in this Wizard Cup regional game, and we see the Dockers now 11-7, 73. The Tigers still in a bit of bother. 3 goals straight, 18.
Well, we did mention Troy Cook's kicking earlier, Kimbers, and that little left foot pass to Medhurst was the thing nightmares are made of, wasn't it?
He's carrying the ball.
Cookie?
Yeah, I reckon that he's not getting his hand on the ball as much as he has done in the past. He just looks like he's playing it hard out there today. Not fitness-wise, I just think he's not even more fit of a limb.
Yeah, he hasn't spent as much time on the ball as he normally would. There goes the bounce down. Up goes Simmons, massive leap, but didn't come down with the football. Richmond stole it through Houlihan. He runs down to the 60, has a long drop punt. Will it make the distance? Yes, I think it will, but it's through from behind. Good kick from Houlihan. It was probably only about 10 metres outside the centre square. That's the long square, and carried all the way, but just the right-hand side of the post. Richmond had that can't be their first behind, is that correct? Yes. 3 goals, 1-19.
That's right, that's the first minor score of the afternoon.
Dockers are 11-7. There goes the boundary. There goes the kick in from the behind. Pavlich takes a super mark in the pack out on half-back flank. Kicked up towards the wing. Polak has the sit. Gives his opponent a shove. That's Coughlin. But can't hold the ball. Ball spills on the ground. Pack converges, and we'll have another ball up. Orange umpires are bound. Boundary umpire running past. Umpire demands the ball. Quite distinctive colours on the runners now too. The runners are in a sort of lime green as he goes running past. Daniel Haynes been terrific this quarter. Kicks the ball out of the pack, doesn't go to anywhere. Young McGrath, whose family are here, hoping he has a good day. Intercepted by Headland. Gets the ball over towards Farmer. The Cabana's in the way. I can't quite see what's going on the ground. I can see Des Headland there trying to scoop the ball out. Richmond now pick it up. I can see the tackle. And the umpire's done very well. Those close scrimmages can be very annoying if they're balling it up when players are in there fighting. Let the players sort it out, Timbers.
Yeah, very consistent too. You're never confused by what they do, are you?
There goes the tap. Sandilands. He's a foot and a half above the pack, and he gets the tap. Taps it down towards Daniel Haynes, and the umpire spotted a free kick to Rogers, and he will take the kick on the left wing. Rogers about a mile out of goal. He's on the left wing. Goes for the chip in towards Tivendale. Started well, been quite tense. Will favour his left foot. Does. Beautiful drop punt, but doesn't quite favour Richmond. Well read by Pavlik. Roger Hayden had a couple of chances to get rid of it. Took a bit too long. Got tackled. Got rid of the ball. Flicked it over towards 47. I think that is
42.
Yep.
Hadrill.
Robbie Hadrell, and he suffers the ball towards the boundary line, and we'll have a boundary throw-in.
In the dying minute of this second quarter, the Wizard challenge. What a game it's been. The Dockers in control. Ball on the outer side. There's not much room here for the spectators. It's a fairly, almost a capacity crowd, I'd say, and we'll find out for you at halftime what sort of a crowd it is in number-wise. It looks pretty good from here. Ball comes into Richmond. Can they get a goal late? They need one. The ball's on half forward, but Dockers are defending very, very well, and the Dockers will get out of trouble through Farmer. Gets a short pass towards Carr. Carr kicks it up towards the centre of the ground. Medhurst there, almost a good mark. Geez, a strong little man. He grabs the ball, takes one bounce. Steadies, beautiful kick, looks for Farmer. He's running hard. He delivered it up. He's under pressure. In goes McGrath, but Farmer's too good. He sockets the ball forward, tripped over at the crucial stage. The ball goes back towards the Dockers player now. He gets the handball out, but there's the siren. It's half-time here in the Wizard Cup Regional Challenge at Wonthella Oval. Almost a capacity crowd, and the Dockers are doing the best at this stage, and the Dockers are 11 goals, 73, leading the Tigers 3-1-19, and you're on 98 FM football.
With the draft and also the preparation that all the clubs go through these days, I mean, they're all very similar. The preparation is similar. You know, they're physically as strong as one another, and we're recruiting players from Victoria as well, especially in Australia. So, you're getting them across the board now. So I don't think that physical difference will ever be a factor again. I think the Eagles proved that with the 2 premierships they won.
They do, and I think the other thing we need to give a rap to today is we've been fairly critical of AFL umpiring, watching it from afar and watching them up close today. Certainly the guys that they've had out there today have done an excellent job.
They certainly have. The umpire just about ready to get the second half of this Regional Wizard Cup underway. The umpire holds it up. The 2 ruckmen to do battle. Aaron Sandilands for the Fremantle side and Royce Vardy for Richmond. Vardy goes up, but it's Sandilands who wins it forward, packed on top of the ball, and a Richmond player was ridden into the ground. He might get a 50-metre penalty. He's playing for it, and he's not going to get it though, and that player is Chris Hyde. Chris Hyde, the Richmond small player, gets a small pass in. The ball is still on centre. Hasn't gained anything. Richmond send the ball forward now, up towards half forward, pack into the air. A Richmond player flew early, but it was a Dockers player who held the ground, and Graham Pollock is that player. But a free kick's been picked out to go the way of Pavlich. There goes the handball from Pavlich. Finds a teammate out there in Headland. Headland goes out wide. Finds McManus. He's been quiet this afternoon. Gets a handball away to Longmuir. Longmuir kicks it long up towards half forward. Ball bounces awkwardly for Crode. The ball carries the pack. The ball running free. In goes a player there for the Dockers. He's tackled, put to the ground, and there'll be a boundary throw-in in the right forward pocket in front of the heavily crowded banks here at Wonthella. As we mentioned just after the half-time break, a crowd of around 7,000, and the GNFL would be happy with that. I think a crowd of about 8,000 was needed to break even for the AFL, so it's not far off the mark. The ball comes forward now, goes the way of Pavlich. He gets pushed into the ground, takes a long time to get rid of the ball, lucky not to get caught in possession. He didn't seem to be making a lot of gestures to get rid of it, but the umpire said he did, and the umpire will throw the ball up. About 35 metres from the Dockers goal. Pavlich playing in the forward line at the moment. Troy Simmons gets a handball away, but only as far as the player there for Richmond in Chaffee. Chaffee breaks away, gets a kick up towards the outer side, but Richmond haven't got the numbers. Dockers player met him solidly, and the ball spills towards the boundary line. Ball still running free on that outer side. Richmond go in. But, Richmond have the numbers, 3-1, and the Richmond players take it away. Richmond kick it up towards half forward. On that outer side of Wonthella Oval, the ball spills away of Sean McManus, but a free kick's been picked out and will go the way of the Richmond player in McGrath. There goes his kick up the ground. It's a good pass, picks out a teammate, and that's Clint King. Clint King with the ball, plays on now, short pass. Picks out Greg Tivendale. Tivendale plays on quickly, puts himself under pressure. Dockers will rebound, and it's an opportunity now through Sandilands to send the ball forward. Up towards a player there in Longmuir. Beautiful handball to McManus. He kicks it a little bit further up the ground to Jeff Farmer, he takes one bounce, breaks across the 50-metre line, he slips over again. And Barry mentioned that before, he just doesn't seem to have the right sprigs on at the moment. The ball's picked up by Pavlich. He centres the ball, looking there for Crobe, but Richmond have the numbers. Can they get out of trouble? Player has the ball socket away from him. The ball goes the way of Chaffee. He's been good this afternoon. Gives it to Gasper. Another good player. Kicks it upfield and finds a teammate there in Tivendale. Tivendale plays on to Gasper. The West Australian on West Australian turf. Runs. He's going to run into trouble. He goes backwards. Finds a teammate there. He does in Tivendale. He feeds it back towards Chaffee. Chaffee sends it forward, and a good mark taken there by the Richmond player in McGrath. McGrath kicks it up towards centre half forward, looking up there for a teammate. Finds that player in Leon Cameron. Ball spills out wide. Can he get a boot to ball? Yes, he can. Hits it on his left boot. Kicks towards the boundary line, and it's out of bounds. On the full? No, it's not. Out of bounds and a boundary throw in the left forward pocket. We've played 4 minutes in the third quarter.
Again, good play by Roger Hayden. Forced him onto his left foot. The goal square was vacant, but he just cut the angle down, forced him to kick wide, and got a boundary throw in. Up they go. Sandilands just stands tall, taps it down in front. Ball comes out to Cameron. Usually a good finisher. Right foot snap, misses way to the right. Richmond have a behind, 3-2-20. But they trail the Dockers, 11-7-73, and the southerly starting to come in now. This will give the players a bit of relief, starting to blow quite strongly, and the temperature should come down a little bit as the players move into the third quarter. Dion Woods to kick out, gets a short lead from Hazelby, ignores that, good long drop punt, goes right out towards the wing, well directed too, lands right on the arms of Polak. He takes the ball half back, short chip in towards Hazelby. Hazelby lightning handball to Walker, good ball movement by the Dockers, gives it over towards Headland. Headland runs too far, gets into a bit of trouble, gives the ball back to Hazelby. Dockers go sideways and backwards, but the ball gets back to Walker. Walker runs to the wing, not sure whether to kick or handball, releases the handball to Pavlich. Pavlich releases the handball to McManus. McManus runs across half forward. Gasper's heading him in, goes for the short pass, and the Dockers are just starting to be a bit wasteful. They were a lot more direct in the first quarter, starting to go short and sideways, and Richmond are chopping them off. Ball comes back to Bowden. Bowden gets the ball over towards Hyde. Hyde kicks the ball up into the middle of the ground. Polak shoots ball from behind, does, flaps the ball out to Pavlik. Pavlik has a drop punt pass down towards the man of the moment so far. No, that's Troy Longmuir. Looked a bit like Medhurst, but would be far better off in Longmuir's hands because he's on the right-hand side of the ground, and it's an easier kick for a left footer. Troy Longmuir, first realistic shot at goal for the Dockers in the third quarter. Should make the distance, about 45 out. Angle about 45 degrees, drop punt. Will it make the distance? It's away to the right, and I think it's out of bounds on the full. Yes, it is. Richmond to kick the ball back into play. No score. Big crowd in attendance, all in a very happy mood, watching the Dockers in the third quarter against Richmond. Play on from the mark by Bowden, gives a handball across to Chaffee, got nowhere to go, blocked in, gives the ball back to Gaspar, took 2 steps, umpire saw it, called him off, gives it to Callaway. Richmond running around in circles, going nowhere, looked like the Dockers of old, and they have to force it through for a behind, and the scoreboard now reads the Dockers 11-8-74, Richmond 3-2-20. Bowden, drop punt into play, good kick, finds Andrew Callaway, been fairly quiet this afternoon, one of their better senior players, usually used in a run-on roll. He chips the ball into the middle of the ground, finds Clinton King, plays on immediately. Richmond looking to move the ball quick. Well done, Pettifer, probably been their best player today. Takes the ball on the wing, drop punt up towards Houlihan. Dion Woods been his master all day. Reads the ball well, zigzags back onto his left, gives it to Polak, who drops the ball, gives it back to Woods. Woods sprints away from Houlihan, kicks the ball down towards Simmons, but he'll direct it over his head. And play just starting to get a bit scrappy. The Dockers aren't as polished as they were in the first quarter. He kicked the ball up towards the wing, and Rory Hilton takes the mark.
Hilton has the ball on half forward, went to play on. The umpire calls him that way now as Richmond going towards the golf club end in this quarter. Good kick there from Hilton. He picks out a teammate in Pettifer. Pettifer, one of the better players for Richmond this afternoon. He's 70 metres from goal. He'll kick it up the ground, up towards the 50-metre line, looking up there for a forward. But they just haven't got the big men that can take the mark this afternoon. The ball's in the back line. The ball's with Woods for the Dockers. Gets it over towards Pavlich. Pavlich flaps it over towards a teammate. That teammate couldn't control the ball. In goes Richmond through Andrew Mills. He's tackled, brought to the ground, and the umpire says, "Give it to me, boys. I will throw the ball up." 6 minutes gone in this third quarter of the Wizard Regional Cup. Regional Challenge, being played in Geraldton this afternoon at Wonthella Oval. Good crowd here, enjoying the football, AFL football, and the players are probably pretty tired. They've taken a lot of energy in the first half, and is going to find the going pretty hard in the second half. The ball's with Sean McManus. He decides to go right out the back and goes backwards. Picks out a teammate there, Luke Webster. Webster plays on now. Gets it out towards the danger man in Woods. He breaks, or is it Farmer? Farmer grabs it. Takes one bounce. Gets a handball away. Picks out a teammate there in Simmons. Simmons turns around the corner. Sets up a teammate. And the ball comes back into play. Richmond can get out of trouble. They're on half-back. Short pass in towards the centre where they find Clinton King. Clinton King sets sail with a big long kick up towards the boundary line. Looking up there for Adam Houlihan. He couldn't control the ball. Yes, he could, but now he's tackled. And another good tackle from the Dockers player. In goes a player there in Woods. He tackles for the Dockers. Pack develops. Players are pretty tired now. Can the Dockers slap it out? Yes, they can. The ball goes out towards the centre wing. Walker's there. Walker steadies. Kicks it up towards half forward where he finds a teammate there in Carr. Carr plays on by hand. Finds it out to Farmer. Farmer fields it out wide to Longmuir. In fact, it might be Medhurst. Medhurst on the outer side of Wonthella Oval. Taking plenty of time. There goes his kick. He centres it. Looking upfield. Can he get it to a tall man? No, he can't. The ball slapped forward by the Richmond defence. They're working hard, but the Richmond's kick was not a good one. And it picks out a docker in Aaron Sandilands. Sandilands plays on by hand. Gives it to Trent Croad. Trent Croad from 55 metres out. Set sail for home. That is a good effort, but it's offline and a minus score. And that was a very, very confident kick from Croad, but not straight enough. And the crowd thought it was through, and they were trying to ride it through, but it was a minor score only.
Pretty bad sport, I thought, the goal umpire down there. That was close enough for mine.
Yes, the crowd thought so. The ball comes back into play from the Fremantle, from the Richmond end. Fiora gets it upfield, picks out a teammate, and they bring it out through the agency of Leon Cameron. Cameron puts it on his left boot, kicks it out towards centre wing. Good mark taken out there by the Richmond player. And Richmond going forward through this sortie. Ball on centre wing, out of side. There goes the kick from the Richmond player, and King kicks it up towards half forward, but they just haven't got any key position players. The Lux of Fortune, it spills over the back of the pack. Richmond have the opportunity, but Luke Toyer decides to run backwards and go across the goal. And very, very dangerous. Almost paid the penalty, but Dockers have the numbers. The ball's with Troy Cook. He feeds the handle out to McManus. McManus back towards the defender there in Carr. He sends it up towards centre wing. The Dockers can set something up now. They've got the pace, but have they got the ball? No, they haven't. The ball runs across in front of the boundary line, and there'll be a boundary throw-in. 10 minutes played in our 98 FM match of the day from Wonthella Oval.
I don't know what that was for, unless they deemed it was deliberate, but Jeff Farmer has the free kick, goes backwards and hits Walker on the chest, Walker on the wing. Short drop punt, finds Cook. Cook in the middle of the ground, back on for a run. He's directly in the middle of the ground, just a few metres to the right of the centre circle. There goes his drop punt, down looking for Simmons. Ball doesn't carry, intercepted by the Richmond defence. In comes Medhurst. Well done, Hilton. Slaps the ball out towards Schultz. Schultz gets the ball over towards Houlihan. No, it's Pettifer. Pettifer gets the ball back towards Hilton. And Richmond once again run the ball up the wing, but Roger Hayden, who's playing a great game in defence for the Dockers, intercepts. Richmond, to me, look to have dropped a few players back behind the ball. The Dockers aren't going forward with the same surety that they had. Richmond seemed to have a few more numbers back. There goes a drop punt down towards Simmons. He's a big boy. Up he goes. Takes the mark. Looks forward now. Sees Medhurst. Kick goes in his direction and he takes the mark. He's a clever player. Just lent on Chaffee. Ball was just a little too far over the line out on the full, but Medhurst again won the man-on-man battle. He's a very clever player, very hard to beat one-on-one. Chaffee to take the kick back into play. Dockers need to just straighten up a bit. Remember how they played the first quarter. They were a lot more direct, and it's not tiredness that shows their game plan. I just think they've lost a bit of confidence. Sandilands, up he goes, takes a great mark. Looking forward into the Dockers forward line. There's a lot of black and gold Guernseys back there. There goes the kick, up they go. All players flew early, misjudged it, but Richmond are outnumbering the Dockers at the fall of the ball. They've got a lot of players back behind. There goes the kick from Gaspar. Goes out towards Hyde. Hyde takes the ball on centre wing, kicks up towards half forward. Toya there in a mismatch with his opponent, but does well to bring it to ground. Then falls all over the back of the Richmond player. Got away with it. Richmond fumble the ball. Well done, Webster. Sockers the ball out of defence. Unlucky. Slapped forward by Cameron. Players converge on the ball. Good tackle by the Dockers. Good tackle by Cook. He's going nowhere. Des Headland back on the ground. Ball fumbled away. Flipped out towards Hyde. Hyde kicks it down towards McGrath. Well tackled. Slung after he got rid of it. Umpire says play on, that's fair. Intercepted by Hayden. Well done, the Dockers. Come out of defence through Walker. Kick down towards half forward. Ball taken by Jones on the ground. Has two options. Doesn't know what to do. Chips the ball towards Grover. Sets him a task, and they've done that repeatedly in this third quarter. They haven't taken the easy options, and they've turned the ball over. Ball comes back to Pettifer. He kicks now Richmond into attack. Back to centre half forward. Oh, well done by Polak. Ran back, spoiled. Hard to do that back into the traffic. Richmond chipped the ball forward. Dockers defence needs to stand firm. Great tackle there by Bowden. Ball spills. Taken by Cameron. Kicks back towards goal. Which way will it bounce? It bounces left hand, side. And Richmond had their third point, 3-3-21, 11-9-75, and Kimbers have been a bit wasteful going forward. They haven't taken the first option, have they?
They've definitely changed their style of play at the moment, Barry. They're going for the medium kick, trying to pick off a target, whereas in the first quarter they're kicking longer over the lines and to an area and having run and smaller players in those areas.
Des Headland with the ball, centre wing, outer side, gets a short pass over towards Anthony Grover. He plays on by hand to Cunningham. Cunningham sends it up towards the 50-metre line, looking up there for a teammate running hard as Anthony Jones, but the boundary line is too close, and there'll be a boundary throw in the right forward pocket, about 25 metres around from the right point post at the northern end.
A little wider too in this quarter, Barry, I feel.
Yes, they have. They've taken the ball out of the centre corridor, which was their strength in the first quarter.
14 minutes gone, quarter number 3, Wizard Cup Challenge in Geraldton. The ball back in the centre. Simmons has been good this afternoon, wins the ball from the boundary throw-in, throws it on his left boot, but he's off target, and he's got a ball out of bounds on the full. Perhaps could have done a little bit better.
I think Chris Connell would be very interested to look at the video of this later on if they've taken one, because how they played in the first quarter is how they need to play. How they're playing now is probably how they have played a lot in the past.
Yes, there is a video of the game, and both clubs will share that, I believe. And, pretty important for their training, one would think. But the Dockers doing the things that they weren't doing in the first quarter, and they playing around with the ball, turning the ball over. The ball's on half forward. Troy Cook has it, as we see interchange being made. And we see Graham Pollack going on, former Geraldton boy, of course. Graham Pollack running onto the ground for another run. And Headland coming off, Pavlich going on, McManus coming on, Jones coming off. So there's plenty of action on the interchange benches. We see Troy Cook set sail for home from 50 metres. That is a very good effort, but not good enough. It's a point, and the Dockers wasteful now in front of goal. And on the 98 FM scoreboard, we see the Dockers 11 goals, 10, 76 to the Tigers, 3 goals, 321. Ball to be brought back in by the defence of Richmond, and I think they do seem to have clogged it up a little bit in this third quarter, and the defence are doing pretty well.
Hazelby's about to come on too, and probably part of the reason they're playing differently is that their side's probably not as settled as it was in the first quarter.
No.
There are a lot of interchange players and haven't quite got all their guns out there at once.
Bowden brings the ball up for the Dockers, comes up towards the clubroom side of the ground, but his kick is offline. That was Leon Cameron who had that kick, kicked the ball out of bounds on the full. So Dockers to bring the ball back in, Anthony Grover to have the free kick. Anthony Grover to bring the ball back in. There goes the kick from Grover up towards the teammate, finds that player, and he's been good this afternoon. Luke Webster gets it over towards another player in Trent Crowe, who's getting a bit of the ball in the second half, but the ball is with Richmond. Richmond can get out of trouble now, and the ball was out on the outer side with Leon Cameron. He leads the race to the ball, takes the ball, one bounce. Does he take a second? No, he doesn't. He puts it on his left boot, kicks it up towards the 50-metre line, looking up there for a teammate. But the Dockers have been very good back there through Roger Hayden, and he goes towards the boundary line, another boundary throw-in. 15 and a half minutes gone in this third quarter. 7,000 people here at Wonthella to enjoy this Wizard Cup Challenge match on 98 FM football. A good way to start the season. The ball comes back into play now, boundary throw-in, and the players knock the ball forward. Another boundary throw-in will come into attack. 21 scoring shots for the Dockers, 6 to the Tigers, so it's pretty much the story of the game. But the Dockers have not been that impressive. They've only added 3 minor scores in this quarter, and Richmond have added 2. The ball is in the 50-metre line, the 50-metre attacking zone for Richmond. Can they get a goal? They need one. The ball picked up well off the pack there by the Richmond player, who shoots on goal, but he too is offline, out of bounds on the full, and under pressure, players make mistakes. And a free kick back into play from the Dockers. Luke Toyer to kick the ball. Luke Toyer wanting to, he's never had an opportunity to really establish his AFL career, been a great waffle player over many years. Gets the short pass on towards a teammate now. The ball's in the centre, and the ball is with Daniel Haynes, who's been very impressive this afternoon. Puts it on his left boot, looking out here for Cunningham, finds that player. Cunningham by hand looks for Cook. Cook put in an extra pace, did it well. Troy Cook grabbed the ball, centre wing, kicked it up towards half forward. Up goes Hazelby, he couldn't control the ball, slaps it forward now, looking there for Woods. He gets pushed out of it. Boundary line is too close, and there'll be a boundary throw in, but a good bit of play there from Troy Cook. Put himself in, Barry, just pushed himself a little bit harder.
Yeah, that's the Troy Cook we know, and he's also laid some very good tackles in a couple of passages just down there in the back line, so yeah, Troy's getting into it.
The ball is on the clubroom side of Wonthella Oval. 60 metres from goal, ball thrown in, pack into the air, picked up by Hazelby. He slaps it forward, but Richmond have it, and Clint King grabs it, kicks it up towards centre wing, but a good strong mark taken by the Docker player there in Simmons, and he is a very good strong mark. Troy Simmons plays on, puts it on his left boot, goes into the centre of the ground, and finds a teammate. Scott Thornton in the centre of the ground, on the edge of the centre square. The Dockers would love a goal late in this quarter. They haven't kicked a goal this quarter. There goes the kick up towards centre half forward. There's the big man himself, Matthew Pavlich. He goes through and takes the mark, and he's 35 metres out directly in front.
And again, they went through the centre corridor, didn't they? So they didn't worry about what was in front of them. The good long kick to space down the centre corridor, and they had the target to take the mark.
Pavlich has kicked 1 this afternoon. Can he add to the tally? As we mentioned a few moments ago, the Dockers have only added 3 points in this quarter. This will be their first goal if Pavlich can get it.
Well, he's the straightest kick in the team.
Dockers using the breeze in this quarter, kicking to the northern end. There goes Pavlich's kick. The goal umpire moves to the left-hand side, but I think it's snuck through. Yes, it has. And on the 98 FM scoreboard, the Fremantle Dockers go to 12 goals 10. And they're leading the Tigers 3-3.
And the game needed that. I think we've played about 10, 12 minutes in this
19 minutes.
19 minutes and we haven't had a goal. We needed that. It reminded me of a Chapman Valley game I watched a while back.
Must have been a long time back, wasn't it?
Not a lot different to the third quarter last week, actually, when they all got a little bit tired in the third quarter last week, and the game sort of fell away a little bit.
Right.
And then it came good again in the last quarter, so let's hope for the same this week.
It is in extreme heat, it is very hard to come out after half-time because you do lose a lot of fluid at half-time. There goes Simmons, great tap, gets down to McManus, good handball through the traffic to Haynes, been impressed with his game, does a half kick. The idea was good, but unfortunately Richmond chop it off. Ball goes to Bowden. Bowden, usually a good kick on the left foot. There he goes, short hammering pass in towards centre half forward, doesn't find the target. 4 Dockers to 1 Richmond, probably wasn't a good option. McManus gets a handball out to Woods, who's been terrific. He gets a kick out towards Thornton. Thornton has Cunningham next in the chain. He goes the short pass, finds Cunningham. Cunningham looks up now, sizes his options. See if he can get one to spin right. Yes, this is good. Hits Daniel Haynes on the chest. Haynes half back. And the Dockers keeping possession, working their way down the ground. There goes the kick from Haynes. Looking for Pavlich. 3 against 1. Over the back, Hilton. Read the ball best. Pavlich comes in, applies tackle, which means that Jones can intercept if he wanted to. Took his eye off the ball, not the Anthony Jones that we saw a couple of years ago. Gets the ball up towards Rogers. Rogers gets a handball towards Houlihan. Houlihan spears the pass in towards Bill Nichols, and he takes the mark on the half-forward line. Nichols, drop punt, has a free man at the back in Joel Bowden, and he read the ball better than anyone else. Took a very good mark. He's quite a big player too, Bowden. If you see him live, he's quite a big stamp of a boy, and he will have a shot from about 35 metres out, about 45-degree angle, but the right side for a left footer. He has a bit of breeze to contend with. Probably started at the right-hand goalpost, see if he can get it to swing it back. Siren's gone. So Richmond with a kick after the siren. They trail by 9-7, 61 points. Bowden taking his time. Normally a pretty good kick. This is a tough shot. Drop punt. Oh, that's going to be close. That's going to be very close. It's hit the post. Has it? No. It's a point. So Richmond 3-4, 22. The Dockers 12-10, 82. Three-quarter time, Wonthella Oval on 98 FM football.
The third annual VB Geraldton Road.
Enjoy the football, just have a bit of fun with the family, and that's what you want to see at football. And I think it's been a real bonus for football, and let's hope some of these people get a taste for football and start coming back to their local clubs, and perhaps watching a few games during the year, and seeing that local football at grassroots continues to survive and thrive.
Just another great day in one of the great spots on the West Australian coastline.
Another day in paradise. 25 minutes away from 698 FM football on a Saturday afternoon. As the umpire holds the ball aloft.
Waverley's got that engrossed. He's forgot his shirt and the siren on.
And we got Simmons to do battle with the fellas there for Richmond. Simmons wins it to ground. In goes the Dockers player in Matthew Carr. Matthew Carr gets a handball away, but only as far as the Richmond player there and Clinton King. He's been pretty handy this afternoon. His kick up towards half forward carries the player he's looking for. It lets Fremantle in through Dion Woods on the outer side. Woods puts it on his left boot, kicks it up towards centre wing, but Richmond have the numbers. Richmond on centre wing, kick it in towards the centre. They'll find a player there in Houlihan. He couldn't mark the ball. Then they knock it away from each other, but Houlihan goes back in, gives it to Tivendale. Tivendale kicks it up towards full forward. Can Richmond get a much-needed goal? Ball socket forward. Goes the way now of a player who can't control it, and it's picked up now by a Richmond player who centres the ball well, but in goes Simmons. He's been good this afternoon. Experienced player. The ball goes the way of Troy Cook. The umpire does very well to get out of his road. Troy Cook puts a turn of pace on, gets the handball out towards Medhurst. He's steady, takes one bounce, two bounce now. Well shepherded there by a teammate. There goes the kick from Medhurst. He kicks it up towards centre half forward. Trent Crode almost the mark, couldn't mark. The ball spills forward. Out of trouble goes Richmond. Hand to hand. The ball broken out of half back now. Up towards centre wing. Clint King once again. There goes the kick. It's Gasper. Gasper kicks it up towards full forward. And Richmond did well then. Got out of trouble. And the ball now with Cameron. Richmond have the ball. 50 metres out. On deep in the boundary. The quarter has started well, Barry, a little bit more lively than the last one.
Yeah, and probably that passage of play could have turned out better. I think two bounces down the wing and then to cross it into centre half forward, a 3-on-1 situation, whereas a big kick and a long kick straight down to full forward could have been better for him.
There goes the kick from Richmond. Looks pretty good off the boot. Unfortunately for Richmond and that player, he's hit the post. That's the first poster of the afternoon. And on the 98 FM scoreboard, Richmond go to 3 goals 5. Dockers are 12 goals 10.
He's their smartest player, Medhurst, and that just wasn't a good option, was it? He could have carried the ball, run in a lot closer, and you don't centre the ball into the corridor unless you're absolutely certain of it.
No, you get split down the middle as they did.
Carr brings it in, gives it to Haynes. He's been good this afternoon. Gets the handball on towards the teammate, sending it up forward. Looking up there for the young fella in Anthony Jones. Jones couldn't control it, knocked it forward. In goes another Dockers player who's been pretty good this afternoon. Anthony Grover, who's played the second half, coming back from injury. Boundary umpire to throw the ball back in. A little bit more urgency in the players now as the sea breeze is in, probably cooling them off a little bit more. The ball throws in, no one went to contest it. In goes a player there in Rogers for the Richmond side, picked up now by Des Headland. He throws the ball on his right boot, kicks it up towards half forward, looking there for Jones. Jones couldn't control it. In goes the Richmond player in Rogers, gets the handball away, but the Dockers are back in numbers, but McManus misses what he should have taken, gives an opportunity for Adam Houlihan. He clears for Richmond, up towards centre wing, clean bowls the Richmond player. Out goes the Dockers player in Webster. His handball is ill-directed. Ball spills to ground, picked up now by the player in Callaway. Callaway runs around, gets the handball towards the player in Vardy. Vardy kicks it up towards centre half forward. Richmond have the numbers, picked up now by Bill Nichols. Nichols turns it around the corner. The Dockers are going to get out of trouble and do it pretty well in the end as they clear out of the back line. And a good kick there from Walker up towards centre wing. Looking up there, he finds McManus. McManus up towards half forward finds Pavlich. And Pavlich has the ball in the shadows of the scoreboard. Matthew Pavlich looking into the sun. The sun will be a bit awkward for the players on that outer side at the moment. Matthew Pavlich looking to bring the ball inboard. looking there for a teammate. He decides to go up the field, kicks it in towards the centre half forward or full forward area, back into the air, ball comes to ground. Richmond will get out of trouble by hand. They go out to a teammate in the outer side, and Richmond will clear. There goes the kick from Richmond, up towards Clinton King. There goes the King, handball from King, back towards King. There he runs along centre wing. He takes one bounce. Now he kicks the ball up towards the 50-metre line, and a good bit of play there from the Richmond player, and Pettifer has the ball. Plays on now, kicks it in towards full forward, looking there for a teammate in Sipthorpe. Sipthorpe grabs the ball. The ball is knocked through. Yes, he got it through, and that's a much-needed goal from the Richmond club. They're first in 2 quarters, and Daniel Sipthorpe gets the goal for Richmond. And on the 98 FM scoreboard, Richmond are 4 goals 5, trailing the Dockers 12 goals 10, and we've played 5 minutes in this last quarter. The Wizard Cup Challenge in Geraldton.
Well, I really do think that Chris Connell will be quite disappointed with this game since quarter time. 7 goals to 1. They've added 5 goals to 3 since quarter time. They've virtually had their full squad minus a few players. Richmond have got half their senior squad missing, and I think since quarter time the Dockers will be quite disappointed with this, Kimbers.
Yeah, I couldn't argue that, but as I said earlier, I think, with the interchange and the number of players there, but then that's modern football. They do that every week. They move a lot of players on and off the ground. So, yeah, I agree. You'd have to be disappointed with the start that they got, that they've only kicked 5 goals since then.
Ball comes up towards centre half forward. Here's the excitement machine, Pavlich. Their most accurate kick for goal. Runs in and fires from 45 metres out, and dug into action. The Dockers get their 13. 13-10-88. Richmond 4-5-29, and he is a terrific shot at goal, Matthew Pavlich, for a midfielder. I think he's had 3 shots today.
3 goals.
All been goals.
Yeah, he's doing it pretty well. He's certainly a class player, and if they have the luxury of being able to use him in the midfield and in the forward line rather than in defence, it is a real bonus.
So one of the important players for the Dockers is Paul Hazelby. Again, Hazelby got that ball out of the middle, and they just look a more complete side when he's on the park, don't they?
Well, Hazelby, then you add Bell to that section, and they're pretty awesome, aren't they? And I still reckon their midfield forward line structure's great.
Yeah, Simmons wins the tap. Up he goes, gets it down to Hazelby. Hazelby gets it to Headland. The names we were talking about earlier coming to the fray. Gee, that should have been a kick to Pavlich. Ball goes to Crode. He's tackled without the ball. Richmond pile on. Hilton goes, sells the dummy to himself. Then gets a kick away towards Daniel Haynes. Gets a hand on the ball. Look out. Usually uses the ball beautifully. Drop punt passes to Furler. Hits Troy Cook laced up on the chest. And Troy Cook, you wouldn't want to have your life on this, but Kimbers reckons his kicking skills are all right, so we'll see how he goes. He's about 35 metres out. He's on about a 60-degree angle. He's not too far off dead centre, and this should be a goal for the Dockers.
That's Troy's distance, Barry.
In he comes. Kick off the boot. Looks pretty good. It's hit the post. Hit the post. Not a bad effort. 13-11-89. Richmond 4-5-29, but the big trio have moved back into the midfield. Hazelby, Simmons and Headland, and suddenly the Dockers look to be back on a roll.
Houlihan to bring the ball back in for Richmond. Once again, Haynes was very impressive with his pass, the boy from Peel Thunder. There goes the kick from Houlihan out to the outer side, and Richmond send the ball up along centre wing, looking up there for a teammate. They couldn't find that player because the ball was knocked away. Once again, a boundary throw-in will come into play. Very impressed with the umpires and the boundary umpires especially today. I think they may have been changing off the interchange bench, but you certainly couldn't blame them for that. You'd need to be pretty fit to keep up in this sort of weather at this sort of pace. The ball comes back into play. Once again, the umpire will come into play because there'll be a boundary throw-in. The players were keen to see the boundary throw-in. True centre wing, outer side, and the number of spectators will be looking right into the sun now, but they would be seeing the ball up close because the ball's not far away from them. Ball back into play. It's Simmons who wins it forward, but only as far as the Richmond player. That Richmond player in Chris Hyde. He gets the handball away, goes upfield, and whistle on play. And it's Hyde with the ball now. Hyde puts it on his left boot, kicks it up towards centre half forward, looking there for a teammate, couldn't find that player. Richmond still running forward, the ball running the way of King. King sends it up towards full forward, and Richmond have the ball through Kane Pettifer. Kane Pettifer's kicked 2 this afternoon. He's 20 metres out, almost directly in front. And he should have the opportunity to bring up his third goal of the afternoon and give Tigers their fifth. Kane Pettifer, 25 metres out. Richmond going with the breeze in this last quarter. 8 minutes gone in the final term. Another interchange being made by the Richmond club. Only one being changed at this stage. And we see Matthew Rogers coming on and Leon Cameron going off. There goes the kick from Pettifer from 20 metres out. Great through the centre, and you'd expect an AFL player to get a goal from there. And on the 98 FM scoreboard, we see Richmond 5 goals 5, 35, trailing the Dockers 13 goals 11, 89.
Well, the great thing about footy is there's never any wasted games. You can always get something out of every game of footy, and I think Richmond today have unearthed quite a good forward in Pettifer. I think his performance has been terrific, Kimbers, and he looks like he's going to be a bit of a shining light when the big guns come back.
Yeah, 3 on a day like today is terrific, and certainly gets enough of the footy and knows what to do with it, obviously, when he gets it. So, yeah, him around the big guns would be great. But him on his own, obviously on his own, he's not enough.
Ball back in the middle, up they go. Simmons gets the tap down towards Headland, stolen by Hyde. He's also been quite good for a youngster. Got a fair bit of the ball, goes towards Haynes. Oh, well done, Haynes. Slapped the ball forward, then stolen off Richmond. Left foot goes out towards Haynes. Will be great use of the ball again. Hazelby swings onto his right foot. Finds Des Headland, metres in the clear. Great at finding space. Left foot chip will find Jones. Jones didn't want to run back and into the contest. As a result, spilled the mark. Handball misdirected by McManus. Dockers making mistakes. Richmond pile in on the ball, get taken too high. And again, skill errors, just letting the Dockers down. Some of the players just aren't, at this stage of the season, obviously, in tip-top shape, and it takes a while to get your touch. Ball kicked across half-back. Mark taken there by Nichols. Nichols just looked like he had to kick a red balloon out of his way, but it's actually a bit short of him. Kicks the ball over towards half-back. Goes towards, that looks like Houlihan. Can't see, hasn't turned around. Yes, it is. Houlihan takes the mark. Pavlich on his mark, runs away, kicks down towards the wing. Looking for a player over there in, looks like Kelvin Moore's come onto the ground. No, it's Rogers. Fairway over there, and players with their backs to you, fairly hard to pick them up. Boundary throw-in. Ball spilled off Rogers over the line. Orange boundary up. Throws the ball high in the air. Up they go. Simmons goes up against Barty. Ball comes to the back of the back. Clinton King's been good this quarter. Got a lot of the ball. Spills it out backwards. Great tackle, Headland. But he got rid of the ball. Get it towards Rogers. Towering left foot kick. Goes down towards centre half forward. Webster in front position. Good sport by Richmond. Ball comes to Toyer. Gets a handball over towards Cunningham. Cunningham misses again with a left foot kick. Just needs to work on his disposal. Can get the footy. Clinton King zigs this way and that way. Dion Woods runs him down. And the ball goes over the boundary line. And we'll have another boundary throw-in. Been terrific today, Dion Woods, as has Roger Hayden when he's been on the ground. And some of the Dockers forwards were absolutely terrific in the first quarter. There's been a lot of interchange since then, but a fair few of the Dockers look in pretty good shape for the coming season. Ball comes out over the back, spilled out towards Leon Cameron, gives it to Houlihan. Big long kick down towards the forward line. Roger Hayden, been in great form, stands one-on-one with his man, kicks it out towards half-back. Troy Longmuir back on the ground, left footer, will kick towards Pavlich in the middle, dummied around no one. Now he's got himself into trouble, and now poor old Cunningham's going to get fixed, and he does. And that was just terrible play by Troy Longmuir. Your first thought's your best in footy. He needed to get rid of that. The Pavlich, who was in the middle, he didn't. The result was he set his teammate up. Cunningham got crunched.
And Joel Bowden has been reported.
Yeah, Joel Bowden's been reported. That was sort of borderline, wasn't it?
Well, I think
the ball really was there.
We saw Chaffee get out of the work.
He was there to be hit too.
Yeah, he was there. Yeah, he set him up.
You can't report him for that.
You can't, but he was reported.
No,
He'll get out of it.
I think he'll get out of that because the ball was very close when the contact was made. Good case in point for young footballers there. They take your first option. Longmuir had one, didn't. Set his teammate up. Luke Toyer kicks the ball along the wing. Goes towards Webster, who's been quite impressive as well. He chips the ball back into the middle. Dockers just looking to use the ball now. They've got a comfortable lead and just looking to keep possession of the football. Walker goes towards Headland in front. Has a man marking him. That's Nichols. Hasn't been too close to him all day, I can tell you. Coughlin gets the ball, kicks it down towards centre half forward. Taking a front position, getting shoved in the back is Polak. Umpire in front. Polak shakes his head. The umpire wasn't side on, couldn't see it. Bowden kicks the ball down towards full forward. Player getting held there by jumper was Gasper, good enough to recover off the ground, picks the ball up and slams it through for Richmond 6. Richmond a 6-5, 41, finishing reasonably well against the Dockers 13-11-89, and you're on 98 FM football.
Yeah, good effort there from Darren Gasper. He's been a very good player, played a lot up the other end of the ground, and very good. Thanks, Cameron. Just got an official number, 7,327 is the crowd for this afternoon, and that is the crowd. Thanks, Cameron Napton from the Country Football League telling us that one. So 7-3, so a pretty good crowd.
Yeah, I would think, Kim, as you're right, with the free tickets, and I would think about 8,000 is about right.
7-3-57, wasn't it, boys? 7-3-57.
Ball back in the middle of the ground. Up they go. Comes down towards Walker. Walker can't take possession. Richmond dive on the ball, and we'll have another ball up. Game's picked up a little in this quarter. Richmond kicked the goals. The Dockers have kicked the players looking to run on in the last quarter. To the fitness into their legs, and the standard's gone up a cog. Sandilands gets the ball over towards Hazelby, dummies the ball out, get rid of it quick. He has. He's just about to get run down. Gets up towards Cunningham. Cunningham's had a bit of a problem this quarter, keeping his head on his shoulders. Gets the ball over towards Des Headland. Chip left foot kick in towards McManus. Misses the target, but he gets a kind bounce. Goes back on the ball. Goes the left-hand side. Gets a handball over back towards Headland. Headland centres the ball. Good disciplined football. Tadley is playing on Andrew Callaway, who's the master of the tag. Now he falls to ground. Pavlich does well, but Andrew Callaway does brilliantly. Gets back up off the ground and spoils it. Good tough AFL footy that was. Taken by Pettigrew. Kicks it down towards half-back and finds Houlihan getting a few touches this quarter.
Official crowd 7,327, and they've all enjoyed the footy here at the Wonthella this afternoon. Clinton King grabs it for Richmond, brings it in towards the centre where Leon Cameron breaks free, puts it on his left boot up towards full forward, looking there for Bowden, but the Dockers have the numbers. Paul Hazelby's in there, been quite. He's probably been off the ground for a fair portion of the day. Free kick, and we see a player gave away a free kick up the ground.
Troy Crowe was just thinking, gee, this game's easy. No one's even coming to tackle me.
So Trent Crowe has the ball on the edge of the centre square. A bit of a bubble behind play. Sean McManus is involved, and so too are a number of Richmond players. There goes Crowe's kick up towards full forward, looking up there for Pavlich. Richmond will take the ball away. A big pack develops, and the umpire's picked out a free kick. It'll go the way of Richmond, and Richmond will get the free kick. Richmond player pushed in the back or ridden into the ground, and the Richmond defence been under a fair bit of pressure this afternoon. Done it pretty well. Adam Pickering, the player. Adam Pickering, relieving the pressure, decides to go out wide. Puts his teammate with the ball there, it's Leon Cameron. He sends it upfield and finds Houlihan. Houlihan on the edge of the 50-metre line, in defensive now. Back towards Pickering, sends it up towards half forward. Ball carries the player. In goes Leon Cameron. Cameron has the ball now. Can he pick it up? Yes, he can. Puts it on his left boot. Kicks it in towards full forward. Good kick. Looking out there, he was for a teammate. That teammate is Kelvin Moore. Kelvin Moore couldn't keep the ball in, and the ball is out of bounds in the right forward pocket at the northern end of the ground. 17 minutes gone in the last quarter. The dying minutes of the Wizard Cup Challenge in Geraldton. The game between Dockers and Eagles. History-making game, and it's been a pretty enjoyable one for the patrons this afternoon. If you're a Dockers supporter, you'd be pretty happy. The ball comes back into play. Dockers have the ball in defence now, and Jones has it, clears the ball out towards the club room side of the ground, looking out there for Des Headland. He can't control the ball. Richmond do through the agency there of Greg Tivendale. He sockers the ball along the ground, looking there for Cameron. But Cameron couldn't keep the ball in, and once again the hard-working boundary umpire comes into play, throw the ball back into play. 25 metres around, probably 40 metres around from the left point post, in front of the very big pack crowd. That's probably the most packed section of the crowd, with the crowd certainly enjoying AFL footy here at Wonthella this afternoon. The ball run three, picked up by a player there in Greg Tivendale. He throws it on his left boot, looking for goal, but he was well offline, out of bounds on the full, and the ball will be brought back into play by the Dockers, Luke Webster.
To exemplify what we were saying earlier, Kim, was having a club with their strongest team on the park, they actually do look quite effective, and they do look quite scintillating when they've got all their gun players out there. But a few of the lesser lights, it's a mix enough to make the team drop off.
Yeah, and I think that shows in the home and away during the year when they get a few injuries, you know. If sides lose key players, suddenly they're a finals contender and all of a sudden they're out of contention because they've lost a couple of key players. A couple of players make a huge difference to the way the team's balanced.
Yep. We've seen Hazelby come off. Luke Toyer goes on. Woods in defence now, gets it up towards half-back and finds that man that should throw on the ground. Luke Toyer on half-back. It's a short pass up the field, looking for a player there in the young fellow Scott Thornton. He gets tackled, ball comes to ground, in goes Simmons, in goes a power player on him, and a good tackle. There's been plenty of good tackle, and as you mentioned earlier in the game, Barry, you don't see many AFL players break a tackle, do you?
No, Scott Thornton just learned his first lesson then in AFL football. He thought he could step around Darren Gaspar, and it just wasn't going to happen, was it?
Bounced down, ball slapped forward by Sandilands. He gives it over towards the player there in Cunningham. Cunningham gets a kick forward, and we'll see the ball with Woods. There goes Jeff Farmer, it is. Jeff Farmer gets a kick backwards, finds the player there who sends it forward, and there's that player again who just got tackled, but now he's got the ball. Scott Thornton took the mark. Scott Thornton with the ball. Plays on now. The 21-year-old gets the handball over towards Grover. He sends it up towards half forward, looking up there for a teammate in Farmer. Farmer can't control the ball. Pack around the ball. Richmond tackles. Player spills the way of Sandilands. He gives it over towards Farmer. Farmer overuses the ball. In goes Troy Cook. Gets the handball away. There's Headland there. He's tackled. Thrown to the ground. Cliff King put a good tackle on him. The ball spills out towards a player there in Chris Hyde. And Richmond go forward. But Dockers, have they got the numbers? Ball goes away over Richmond. Beautiful tackle once again by a Dockers player. Ball running hard. Interference. A Richmond player was pushed in the back. Kane Pettifer. No, it's not. It's Joel Bowden with the ball. He's 70 metres from goal. And Richmond are going into attack. Joel Bowden with the ball.
Kicks the ball up towards full forward, taken by the man of the moment for Richmond. Pettifer has a flying shot at goal, but that's away to the left, and we'll have another boundary throw-in. Dying moments of this game. The Dockers lead 13-11-89. The Richmond 6-5-41. The hometown favourites, if I guess you could call them that, have done pretty well this afternoon, and the big crowd will be more than happy, I think, at the result. Been a terrific game to watch, and a very enjoyable day. Ball gets tapped out of the boundary throw-in, comes towards Woods. He sprints across half-back, takes one bounce, takes a second, has McManus running in support, takes one too many, bounces the ball over his shoulder. Players getting tired, making mistakes. McManus goes back in to help him out, chips the ball up towards Cunningham. Cunningham runs away on his right foot. Another terrible kick. Needs to work on his disposal. Ball comes in towards Matthew Carr. Carr gets the left-hand handball out, cleverly intercepted by Andrew Callaway, who's been a very good defender for Richmond. Stepped up in the second half, didn't do a lot in the first. Kicks the ball down towards centre half to just the other side of the centre square, and the mark's taken by Rogers. Rogers chips the ball down the centre half forward, taken by Clinton King. He's too far out to score, would be about 85 to 90 out. Drop punt down towards goal. Up goes Cameron in front of the pack. Was being held on to, let the umpire know, but the umpire just ignored him. The ball rolled over the back of the pack, over the line, and we'll have another boundary throw-in. 13-11 plays 6-5. Dying moments of the game. Waverley's got his hand on the button, and as this ball goes back into play, that'll be all she wrote at Wonthella Oval. But it's been a fantastic afternoon. Great to see AFL come to Geraldton. There goes the boundary throw-in. Up they go. Pettifer gets the ball, gets it onto his boot, going nowhere. Spills out towards Toyer. Toyer runs out towards half-back, shrugs a tackle, goes to the dribble kick towards the boundary line. That sends the siren, and the Fremantle Dockers have defeated the Richmond Football Club 13-11-89 for 6 goals 5-41 at Wonthella Oval on 98 FM football.
Yes, it's been a great day for the Midwest and great day for football. And the Dockers have done it well this afternoon. They started the game very well. They got away to a flyer. They kicked 7 goals in the first quarter. They only added another 6 for the afternoon. But Richmond, their best quarter was their last quarter, so that would be very pleasing to Denis Pagan. Richmond added 3 goals, 1 in the last quarter. Fremantle